Hello friends, back again for another book review, or more of a shout out. It's a shout out at the minute because I can't say it's a full review yet because I haven't read the full novel. But what I'm going to do is shout out this writer and his channel and talk about the first story that I've read in his collection, which is and a wee bit the second. Maybe say mention a wee bit the second. But what I've read so far is very good, and I'm sitting here chilling out on a Saturday night as I do. This is a night with two whiskies and reading and just relaxing. And I read this story and I wanted to talk about it. So I decided I'll do it and we'll see how it turns out. And if it's alright, I'll put it on for you to watch. But I'll show the book. The writer is Guy Riddihough. I hope I am saying the name right. I remember I said it wrong at one time. Guy Riddihough is the way I pronounce that. Me, my Northern Irish sort of mind of reading that name. That's what it looks like to me. Guy Riddihough. But I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, mate, as I say, I'll put his channel in the description, and if I'm wrong, let me know. Because I butchered your name last video. I hope I don't do it again. But I hope I'm right this time. But it's not the glass shard. It's the glass weaver's tale. And other stories. And it's a good made independent novel. The artwork's brilliant. What you're getting in the novels, you're looking at it and you think, I've seen you look online and you see it saying 280 odd pages and you're like, oh, it's not that, but it's there's a lot in it. There's a lot of stories in it. Some of the stories are big. There's novellas in this. You're getting a lot for your money, if that makes sense. You're not, you're getting a lot for your money. And what I've read from the first novel, it's definitely worth purchasing. It's definitely worth, even if you're in the Kindle, it's definitely worth the Kindle price. Or if it's, I don't know if Guy has it on as a, that Kindle free thing, but it's definitely worth the money. That what you're getting in this year collection of short stories. Now this is his first collection, I think. He's got a few others, and going with what I've read in the first novel, the others are worth picking up or looking into. I think, friend, that I'm going to be getting the rest of your work. And yeah, you've got me on board. We'll say that. You've got me on board. I'm on board with you. You're a good writer. There's nothing wrong here than what I see. It might be harder for the new SF reader, somebody that's just to plot and like imagination, and not really used to the SF where it's a more like a hard SF, the older type where there's ideas and it's putting all these ideas together and you have to actually read between the lines to find what you're trying to tell us, if that makes sense. It might be harder for the younger SF reader, but you see, for all us older SF readers, get people that's been reading it for quite a long time and they're wanting to try something that's not mainstream publishing that's pushing it to us, because usually it's push anyway. But this is a book that's worth picking up from Guy, and I'll say again, I'll put your name in all in the description. So if anybody, I know I'm a small channel, and there's not much, but this video won't be going down unless I look at it again and think, holy fuck, I was talking so much shit. Man, I better put it down. But I doubt it. Just, you get me as me, Luke, But look at it. Go on to his website. If you go on his YouTube channel, check out his website and support him. Now, the guys that have done their weird frequencies, I've seen Guy commenting on a couple of your live streams and on some of your videos. So any of you guys, I would say check out, pick it up, try it, read it. I don't know if he's already have. He's maybe already have. I maybe in the wrong, but what I've read so far in the first story and a half, it's it's very good. It's got me thinking. It's been in my head all day. The first novel, or the first short story, and I'll talk about it in a minute, a bit more. And what I'm planning on doing with this here is maybe do this again in like a trilogy of reviews, or maybe more, because the last two novels or the last two short stories are quite long. There's a wee small one at the very end. I'll not talk about that. If you buy the novel, you'll hear about that. That's your one for purchasing it. But the last two story or the two stories before the last, we'll say, are quite long, like novellas, and I might do them for a video each. But I digress. I'm 5 minutes in, as I do. Wow, I'm fucking waffling. Wambling, I was gonna say. But the first story I want to talk about is Needle and the Groove. That's the way I would. Yeah. Groove. Hopefully it's not Grove, but it's Groove to me. And this is a story, a time travel story, about this man that wakes up in a room and he doesn't know where he is, he doesn't know why he's there, and he doesn't know pretty much what's going on, and he's put in the deep end, and he has to try and remember. He's got short-term memory because of a loop of his of this time, like a time loop. It's I know I maybe making it sound horrible here, but it's very interesting. See at the start of it, you're a bit confused. You're like, what the fuck's going on here? And you are a bit confused. You're like, this is tricky. You don't know what's going on. But you see, once you read it, it starts the jigsaw piece starts to fix, and the way that Guy is writing it, it starts to make sense. It does start to make sense. You just have to persevere and keep going. And the confusion is part of the beauty in the story, because I don't think there's a person that would start reading this and not be confused. You're going to be confused, but once the story kind of progresses, it all kind of makes sense. And I was the way he's a clever guy. You're clever. You're a clever guy. You fucking scared me in your last video, so we'll say that. But it's a clever short story with time, and with how the character meets himself. I don't want to say too much. These short stories are hard to review. I'll try my best. I'm learning this reviewing process on YouTube. It's been alright for all these 25 years reading novels and me just getting all in, but see now me trying to explain it, it's a bit tricky. So if I give too much away, or if I spoil anything, let me know in the comments, please, because I'm learning. This is the learning curve for me as well. All this YouTube reviews, I am learning. I'm new to it, but what I call it in this is like, see, whenever the main character, Richard McClifford, I think his name was. I'm trying to think of his name was there now. When he meets his younger self, we'll say, I liked it the way there was two identities. You had a character in the future that had his way of thinking, and the same guy, but they were still kind of on the same page, if you know what I mean. I liked that. That was pretty cool. You know, they're still on the same page. You know, they knew each other, what each other was thinking, but they looked at life differently. Can you imagine if you were in your 40s and you're looking back at yourself in your early 20s and trying to talk to yourself about something that you were so committed to doing, that you loved this and you know this is what I want to do, but your older version came back to you and says, think about it, you know, it's not as bright as what you think. What would you do? Would you say, fuck you? No, I'm doing what I feel is right, or would you listen to him? That wee bit kind of got me a wee bit. It was like, do do you trust your older self, or do you trust your inner self? You know, and I like that. I like that part of it. Like, I know it's maybe not. It's maybe had to read in between the lines to find that, but to me that was actually very interesting. And there was another interesting part. As I say, I like to read out a few bits. I don't want to spoil it because short stories are, you know, you're trying not to spoil too much. You're trying to give as little as you can, and yeah, I'm trying to look here to see. This is the bits I should edit out, but I fucking won't, as I say. There's a bit here I seen. Oh, here's a wee bit. There's two wee bits here. My skin prickles with a premonition of disaster. I stare at my younger self. I don't know. Am I in danger in the future? And have taken refuge in the past? Or perhaps you are in danger here in the past? And have I come to warn you from the future? I concentrate, trying to draw out the logic of the situation. Either way, I have a feeling something bad is going to happen. I just can't remember what. And that's part of the story too, is his short-term memory, because of loops and times. It's just keeping looping, and he's losing his memory. But is his memory being lost because he's looping a lot? And that's what you hate to figure out. Don't want to ruin too much. I gave too much away there by saying that, but there was another wee piece that a guy, Riddihough, please let me know in your next video if I'm butchering your name. Say your name, please. So I'm scared in case I'm butchering it. But your next the next video, just say your second name for me, if you don't mind. But I love the part where Rich, the old Rich, is back in the past, and this is a bit that's very personal for a human sort of feeling. There's not. I don't think there's any person that's been, you know, if they've lived a good age, or if they've lost a mother, say, and I'm lucky to have my mum still. Even me that still has my mum at my old age now, coming up to 40, not old, I talk about, but you know what I mean, middle age. I see my mum getting old, and this bit kind of broke my heart, because I thought, you know, you live your day every day, you live your life every day, and you know you're on your own worries and your own thoughts. You're not thinking about, you know, your mother and your dad all the time. And this is a guy that's went back in time, and this is a bit of a spoiler, but I'm gonna say it because it might make more people more encouraged in reading it. Can you imagine being an old, like going back in time? You're in your 40s and you go back and see yourself in your early 20s, and you're trying to talk to this younger version of yourself, and next thing you know, the phone rings, or whatever it is he has for the younger version of himself, and it was the mother that passed away 15, 20 years ago, and you're back in time. It's wee bits like that. They're strong. That's to me, that's themes, and to me that's feeling. It might only be a couple of paragraphs in the short story, but it's, when you think about it, it's really deep. And he argues with his younger self to let me talk to her, and the younger self's like, no, what are you gonna say and all, you know? And but the younger self is him still, so he feels like, he looks in his eyes and he's like, he knows that he has to give him the phone, pretty much. He's gonna fucking kick his bollocks in, I think. So he gives him the phone, and the wee conversation is not long, but it's lovely, if that makes sense. And it made me think of my mother, and I'm thinking, a ringer tomorrow. Do you know what I am once? I know I'm, you know, it's maybe me thinking too much about it, but that's what I got from it. And then he talks about his dad and all that. It was lovely. It was a lovely wee passage in this wee short story where it brought it kind of, you know, in time. Take every day as it is, and because you don't know when they're not going to be there anymore. I know, I like that. I like that, and that's what this sort of story is. That's what science fiction is about. That's what SF's about. Is outlaw bookseller would say. He would cringe if I said science fiction, but SF, uh, it's about ideas. It's about thought. And this first short story is full of it. But it will go on because I'm 15 minutes in here. Because I like to talk. There's nothing bad that I've read about this short story guy. Nothing bad. There's probably one thing for me as a reader, and I only got it because when it came into the story, I thought, oh, I haven't had that yet in this short story. This is the first time I've actually kind of felt that sort of writing style. We'll say that was whenever the story started, and you had Rich waking up, and it was with his younger self, and it was all talking, and them two together, and communications, and then every descriptive thing was about science and about time and about space and all that and how that works, and that's fine. But I found when I got to this bit, it felt like a breath of fresh air. I was like, oh right, just a wee moment of breath of fresh air, and it was a wee moment of, and this happened a couple of times, but it's the only thing that I wish was more in it. But then if it was more in it, that would be a longer story. But that's when you talk about description, and you've a nice way of talking about description, but you only do it in little bits. And I'll read out the little bit that I find. This is a lot of it's conversations and a lot of it's SF, and then we drive away along the bumpy track that curves into the woods. Above, dark clouds mass in the sky. Lightning flickers in their leaden interior, and thunder reverberates as the first heavy raindrops slap against the windscreen. Why isn't it safe for you here in the past? Rich asks, concentrating on his way ahead. And then it kind of goes back to their conversation and just them talking again. But it was that wee passage. We drive along the bumpy track, the curves in the woods, above dark clouds massed in the sky, and I like that because it kind of sets up an image and a picture in your imagination of these two travelling. What I think is there's not enough of that, but then I don't look at this as a bad thing. This is just me as a reader. That then there's a few of them. Like, I'm not saying it's just that one bit. There's a good few of them, but there's a lot of conversations between the two characters. But then I don't know what I'm talking about, because at the end of the day, it's a short story. If you were to go into all that detail, it'd become a novella. So don't listen. As I say, it's just my wee thing. It's the wee perk. I think I loved your writing that much that I wanted that wee bit extra. Does that make sense? I hope I'm not trying to. I'm not a person here that's trying to tell you you're doing something wrong. I'm not that type of person that would read books and think like that. I can't fucking write. So what do I know? I tried writing. I overthink it, and it just. I'm like you, a tinker. I do it too much. I'm overthink it, and it just goes on and on and on. But that would be the only one con for me in this story was there wasn't enough description of the world around them. But it's very small, very light, and I wouldn't let it put you off buying this book or the story. It's just, that's me as a reader. But we'll move on, because I've been talking about that too much. But I'm trying to get as much as I can out of every story, and put it on a video for you to listen to me. And yeah, I says I would do it, so that's why I'm doing it. Like, there's a wee bit here as well, which is a lovely description. The woods open into grasslands, and the track joins the road leading to a nearby town. We wind our way through the hills, their peaks hidden in the rolling clouds. Finally, the town emerges from a gap in the downpour. Rich pulls into a charging station. Battery needs boosting. There's a cafe there, and then it's back to them talking. Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to say. Is I would like more of that, just description of the world. But we'll move on. Right, what's this bit? A piece of knowledge from the future falls back into place in my mind. Oh, this is when we're going back to more of the science and the ways of the time travel, which is brilliant. The way Guy has thought out the time and the way he explains it with like a record player, and it jumps and it goes from each record's like another multiverse. I thought that was brilliant. That was really, really it simplified it, but it made you think. That's just the first story of this great collection, again by an independent author. And as I've said many times, and I will say many times on this channel forever and ever, I'm there for the independent author. I've read that much books from the mainstream publishers, and they don't do it anymore. I've read them, and I've read all these literary novels in the past, and I realised it's the independent authors that have things to say now that are different. You know, they're not known so much in the mainstream publishing, but we have to keep them alive, if that makes sense. We have to speak about them. We have to talk about them. We have to get these videos out. That's why I'm doing this. And it's going to be I'm gonna do a video for every short story in this. I'm gonna do that for him. I'm gonna do that for you, mate, because that first one was pretty good, and the second novel, or the second short story, The Boy Who Built a Rocket Ship, I'm getting into it now too as well, and I'm enjoying it. They are very enjoyable. I don't mind making loads of videos for them, independent novels. I know that maybe a lot of people might think on a channel, oh, it's too much. It's too much. You're making 77 videos of one novel. I don't care. It's gonna happen. I'm gonna do that, and if you don't like it, you don't have to click on it and watch it. But I'm gonna do that for every chapter. If you're interested, I'm gonna be talking about this. So we've got about 7 or 6 videos coming up shortly, and yeah, I'll put the description in the channel and his website or his YouTube channel, and definitely if you're a person that loves SF, look into it, because he knows what he's doing. I know that. It's hard SF, if that makes sense. So far, so good. As I say, I'm not finished, but I like what I've read so far, and I love that cover. I think I've already said that, but I love that cover. It's a good cover. And I had to go here because I'm fucking 26 minutes in here. But that's what I do. Independent novels. I'm going to talk a lot about them, because they need it and they deserve it. So, on that note, all the best, everybody. And if you've made it to the end of this video, thank you for watching. And yes, go check out his channel. Brett, please check out his website, because he is a good writer.